Great. Okay, so yeah, welcome, July Yoga. We're going to be doing a power flow. If you like to have a block, go ahead and find one. If you want to listen to what I'm listening to on my Spotify, it is Brit Invasion HGY, which is the playlist I used when I taught a class for Health Goth Yoga. It's really fun and upbeat. If you don't like rock music, then just put on whatever you like to listen to, or you can just listen to my voice. And we're going to start laying down. So turning towards the right side of your mat. As always, I like to work along the long edge of the mat for the videos. So if you can watch me with the long edge facing me, that would be ideal. If you cannot do that, that's fine. You might just be turned away from me sometimes. So facing the right side of your mat and then laying down. Feet flat on the ground if it feels good. Maybe starting with a few really deep inhales and exhales. Just taking a moment to get comfortable. If you're listening to my playlist, you can start it now. Just taking some time to remind yourself that this is your practice. So I'm going to kind of start, we're going to be doing like the same thing a few times, and I'll start with kind of a less intense version and then we'll kind of pump it up. So if you like the less intense version, you can continue that the whole time. If you don't like the less intense version at all and you want to start kind of harder, you can kind of intensify it yourself if you want to. But essentially, I'm not there, and also I can't feel what you're feeling in your body, so just make it feel good for you. If you like to set an intention for your practice, you can go ahead and set one now. If really long, deep breaths feel good for you, go ahead and start to bring them into your body, just kind of filling the lungs. Maybe breathing in and out through the nose, but maybe not. And then if you're ready for it, just extending your arms above your head, your legs long. Taking a really deep breath in. And then as you exhale, just drawing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a little hug, maybe rocking around. And then we're going to start right in with some core work. So when it feels good for you, or bring our hands back behind our head. Lifting the head and shoulders up, pulling your big toes towards each other, draw your belly down towards the ground. And then we're just going to start tapping the toes and then bringing them back up. So if it's too much to have your head up, you can bring it down. You can put your hands underneath your bum if you need it to be harder. You can extend your legs longer. The next time you have your legs up, if it feels okay, just extending one out nice and long, and then back in, and the other. Don't forget to breathe while you're here. And then bringing them back in, arms down by the sides. You can keep your knees bent or you can extend your legs long. We'll see if we feel good about bringing the hips up. Really pressing into those arms, keeping your core nice and tight, maybe squeezing the feet in towards each other. We'll do two more. And then knees back into the chest. Just start to kind of rock. We're going to rock back and forth a few times. If you hate that, just go ahead and find your way up and over to all fours. Otherwise, we'll rock back and forth a few times. Woo. and then just finding your way over into all fours in whatever manner feels good to get there. And we'll just start to move through cat and cow. Extending really long, and then squeeze on your exhale. If you want a little bit more action, you can tuck your toes under and then take that inhale on the cow pose, and as you exhale, maybe hover the knees off the floor, getting that core to start to work a little bit more. Pressing into the fingertips. And then we'll just come back through center, tucking the toes under, maybe moving your hands forward. And we'll come into down dog. So bend the knees a whole lot because we haven't warmed up the legs yet. Maybe shaking out the head, shaking out the hips. Pedaling the legs if you like. And then looking forward, we'll walk our feet to the top of our mat. Lifting halfway, hands onto the shins, keep the knees bent a little. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up, reaching, nice deep breath. Moving through some sun salutations, let's exhale to fold. Lifting up halfway. Exhale, folding, planting the hands, step back. Coming to all fours, cat-cow, if that feels good for this first round or for every round. If you're ready to chaturanga already, you can. And then we'll come back through center, downward facing. Keep the knees bent. Maybe your heels can sink a little bit more. Maybe you want to wiggle around. But really press into the hands. So try not to come forward, pressing the hands into the floor like you're trying to press the floor away from you. And then looking forward, walking the feet to the top of the mat. Lifting halfway, get long through your spine. On your exhale, fold down. Inhale, roll all the way up, reaching nice and tall. We're going to go straight into the next one, so find your fold. Lifting halfway. On your exhale, folding, plant the hands, step back. So cat and cow again if you want. We're coming onto the knees and just taking your way through a kneeling chaturanga. Inhaling into a cobra. Lowering back down. And then pressing through all fours, downward facing. Looking forward, step your feet up to the top of your mat. Lifting halfway, nice deep breath. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up. We're going to do one more of Sene. Straight in. As you exhale, find your fold. Lifting halfway. As you exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back. So either of those first two options, or skipping completely, or you can come into a full plank, chaturanga, up dog or cobra. Pulling through the belly all the way back to downward facing. Maybe your legs can straighten a little bit more this time. Maybe shaking out the head, take some deep breaths. And then taking your gaze forward, step your feet up, lifting halfway. On your exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up, lifting all the way up to the ceiling, and then sink into a chair pose. Take a deep breath here. Hands can be at the heart center. As you exhale, find your fold. Lifting halfway. Exhale, folding, plant your hands, step back. Moving through whatever version of a vinyasa you like. We'll meet in downward facing. And your right leg's going to lift up, take it high. Bend your knee. Draw some big circles. One direction, then the other. And then looking forward, step the foot all the way up. Find your way through warrior one. Nice deep breath. As you exhale, we're going to open up. Take a goddess, winding through the inner thighs. And then turn to the left side of your mat, stepping back, plank, chaturanga, whatever version you like. It could be a cat and cow. Find your way back to downward facing. Left leg will lift this time. Bending in the knee, draw some circles. In one direction and then the other. And then taking the gaze forward, we'll step the foot up, warrior one. Nice long deep breath. As you exhale, open up into goddess. Feel the inner thighs. Badger's barking. And then turning over to the right side of the mat. Badger, be quiet. Move through vinyasa. Up dog or cobra. Back to downward facing, holding here. Take some deep breaths. Badger. So when it feels good, looking forward, stepping, hopping, walking, jumping, standing, front door. Kayla. Come on, Badger. Go lay down. Sorry about that. All right. Top of the mat. Into our chair pose. When it feels good, finding your fold. So we're going to do the same thing again, but we're going to do warrior two. So when it feels good, coming up halfway. On your exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back to plank. Moving through vinyasa. Up dog or cobra. Back to downward facing. Right leg lifting, bend the knee. Draw some circles. If you want, you can really open up here. And then drawing the knee into the chest. Step the foot up. Back foot's going to come wide. Find warrior two. Nice long deep breath. Lifting up, opening back into a goddess. And then closing to the left side of your mat. Stepping back to a plank, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Hugging the belly. Finding downward facing. Left leg lifting. Bend the knee. Draw some circles. Maybe really open wide this time. Knee to chest. Step it up. Find warrior two. Nice long deep breath. Inhale to open. Exhale, goddess. Turning to the right side of your mat. Stepping back. Vinyasa if you like. Finding downward facing. Holding here. Take some long breaths. If you need a child's pose, this is a good time. Anytime's a good time, but this is a good time if you want it, but you don't want to have to miss out on anything. Couple of deep breaths. Maybe a sip of water. All right, so we're going to start kind of a little flow that we're going to do maybe 3 times, and we'll start on a lower level and then make it harder each time. So if you like the lower, I don't like the word level, but like the less intense, I guess, version, and then we'll make it harder if you want it to. So you can stay with the first version, you can stay with the second version, or whatever. So coming to downward facing. When it feels good, right leg's going to lift, take it up nice and high. Knee to chest. So come to the knees if it feels better. All the way back up. Really try to squeeze hips towards your ribs. All the way back up. Twice more. This last time we're going to hold. See if you can round your back a lot and flex your foot. You might be able to step the foot all the way up. If you need to come to your knees or back to that 3-leg dog, you can. And then come down onto the knee. We'll take a nice deep breath in, finding a kneeling lunge. Nice long deep breath. As you exhale, we're going to sink our way forward. So you're coming into like a lean. Did this in Karina's class the other day. When it feels good, you're just going to squeeze and reach. Squeeze and reach. If it's too much leaning forward, you can come up higher. Six. 1 or 2 more. 8, reaching the arms up, tucking the back toes if they aren't already. We're going to lift and open into goddess. As you exhale, come to the other side, step back to plank. Moving through chaturanga, whatever version you prefer. Inhaling up dog or cobra. Back to downward facing dog. Left leg will lift, this time take it high. Just like before, 4 times to the chest, squeeze. All the way back up. Squeeze. All the way back up, squeeze your glute. squeeze. Up. This last time we're gonna hold. Try to round your back a lot, flex your foot. Maybe you can stick the foot right through into your lunge. Maybe you need to go back up or down onto the knees. Coming down, reach your arms. Woo! Can you tell I haven't been teaching? Because talking and moving is difficult right now. Nice long deep breath. When you're ready, just like before, we're gonna lean forward 8 times. Squeeze and reach. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last one. Coming back to the lunge. Tucking your back toes if they aren't already. We're going to lift the back knee. Spiral open into goddess. All the way to the right. Stepping back to plank, chaturanga if you want. Remember, you can always cat and cow. And then we'll come to downward facing and take a couple of long breaths. If you prefer child's pose, you can take it. I'm going to take it. All right, when it feels good, we're going to do another round. So when you're ready for it, find downward facing badger. Enough. When you're ready for it, right leg will lift. So this time, if you want, knee's going to come across the chest. So taking it towards the opposite elbow. Just for the first 3. And then on the 4th one, we'll come to that center and hold. Flexing the foot. See if you can round your back a lot to create space to step forward. If you need to go back, you can. Back knee down, reach. So we're going to do pretty much the same as we did last time. We're going to add a little spice into it, okay? So when it feels good, reaching the arms, we'll lean forward. So this time, if it feels all right for you, on the squeeze, we're going to lift the back knee and bring it back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Take a nice long deep breath, tucking the back toes if you haven't already, and we'll lift, open into goddess. Closing to the other side, step back, vinyasa. So whatever version you like. Finding downward facing, maybe taking a breath. And then when you're ready for it, if you're ever ready, left leg will lift. 3 times across the chest, so knee to the opposite elbow. You can come to the knees to do this as well. And then on this 4th one, we'll come to center. Hold, flex your foot, round your back, step it up. Back knee will come down, reaching the arms. Same thing as before. So you can stay with just the lean, or we can pick up the back knee as we squeeze. So we'll lean forward and squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last time. Arms up, nice long deep breath. Tucking the back toes, we'll lift, open up. Woo. And then circle around vinyasa if you like. I'm going to skip this one because my arms are tired. Child's pose. Take a few breaths. If you need water, get some. Hopefully you're doing okay. Probably wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't like 1,000 degrees in here. Okay, so we're gonna do that flow one last time. But we're gonna add on to it again. So this time, I'll tell you before we get to it. This time, we're gonna keep the knee lifted if you want, and then instead of like staying in the lunge, so the last time we lifted the knee and put it back down, this time we'll stay in the lunge, and then when we squeeze, we're gonna straighten our front leg, okay? So when you're ready, coming into your downward facing dog. Take a few long breaths here. And then we're gonna go right leg. So take it up nice and high. This time, knee to the same elbow, so knee to right elbow. Getting that oblique, and all the way back up. Just the 3 times. And on the 4th one, we'll hold in center just like before. So holding in, round your back, flex your foot, see if you can step it up. Back knee can come down, reach the arms. So I want you to keep the lunge pretty low, so we're not up in a really high crescent lunge. So if you're gonna take this version, you can do either of the first two. If you're gonna take this version, we're gonna start with the lean and then lift. So see how we're really low? And then as you squeeze, you're gonna straighten the front leg and then sink back in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, last one, 8. Coming back down into that lunge, take a breath. Tucking the back toes if they aren't already. Lifting, open up into goddess. And then turning to the left. Bowser, that's enough. Moving through vinyasa. And into downward facing, holding here. So last time with this flow. Take a few breaths. Badger. When you're ready for it, left leg's gonna lift, just like before. Knee to left elbow, so taking it out to the side and back up for just for the first 3, 2, and 3. This time take it to center hold. See if you can round your back, really lift. Flexing the foot, step forward, back knee down. Reaching up, deep breath. So just like before on the other side, any version that you prefer. We'll start by leaning forward. If you're taking the last version, we'll come here. When it feels good, straighten and squeeze. And low, and lower. Squeeze. Badger! Stop! Last time. And back down into the lunge. Nice deep breath. Lifting, we'll open all the way up. Close it back to the right side. Move through vinyasa, or not. Find your way into downward, or not into, or I guess you can take downward facing if you want. Otherwise, a child's pose. Take a break. Couple of breaths, get some water if you need it. I swear she was just sleeping and being quiet earlier. Okay. So we're gonna do one more standing sequence. We're gonna do it twice through. It's gonna have some balancing in it. So if you'd like to have something to hold on to balance, go ahead and find something. It is so hot, man. Can't wait for that American air conditioning when I move. Okay, so when it feels good, we're gonna find downward facing dog. So starting here, if it feels all right, we're gonna do 3 like down dog push-ups. So it's like an overhead press. You're not gonna come forward to a push-up. You're gonna stay in your down dog, bend the knees a lot, fingertips towards each other a little, and then just bend the elbows. So just the elbows are bending, the top of the head's coming towards the ground, and press back up. 3 more. Bringing the hands back towards center. Right leg's gonna lift up. Take it nice and high. Bend the knee, let's just hold here. See if you can stack your hips, pointing your knee towards the ceiling. Your foot's coming over towards the left. Maybe you can see it. You can rotate your ankle a few times. Maybe you can lower your left heel a little lower. And then when you're ready for it, we're gonna step forward, coming into a lunge. Reaching the arms up. Nice long deep breath. So when it feels good, hands to your heart center, we're gonna lean forward. So you can stay here, or you can lift the back leg, finding warrior 3. See if you can come a little bit lower. Taking your right hand to the floor or to your block, we'll open our hips. Maybe turn your shoulders open. You might be able to lift the arm. You might be able to look up, half moon. And then we're just gonna drop down into a warrior 2. So you're gonna bend your front leg, dropping down, warrior 2. And then we'll flow here. So back hand to back thigh, find a reverse. Come all the way forward, extended side angle. Straighten the front leg out, reverse triangle, and come all the way forward. Triangle pose. Back into your warrior 2. We're not gonna close. We're gonna look forward, we're gonna reach back towards the floor to come back into our half moon. Whoop. We're gonna close our hips, close our shoulders. If you can, hands will come back to your heart. And tap your back toes down, coming back into your lunge. We're gonna do the same thing on this side again. So when it feels good, hands to your heart. Shifting your weight, your toe can always stay tapped, or find your warrior 3. Right hand to the floor, open your hips up. Maybe your chest. Back foot's gonna float down. Warrior 2. Back hand to back thigh, reverse. Come all the way forward, extended side angle. All the way back, reverse triangle, straighten your front leg out. As you come forward, send your hips back, finding triangle pose. Back into your warrior 2. Swinging your way open, find goddess, see if you can come really low. And then we'll turn to the left side of the mat. Step back to a plank vinyasa if you want. I'm going to skip this one. And then when it feels good, left side. So taking the left leg up nice and high. Bending your knee. See if you can stack your hips. Just holding here. Seeing if your knee can point up. You might be able to see your foot under your right armpit. And maybe your right heel can sink. And then we'll extend the leg, close the hips, step up, find your way into your crescent. Nice deep breath. So same thing as on the other side, hands to the heart center. You can keep your back foot down, we're gonna shift forward. Maybe taking yourself to warrior 3. If you have a block or a chair or something to put your hand on, left hand will go onto it. Starting to stack the hips first, maybe your shoulders. And then we're going to slowly bring the back foot down. Warrior 2. Back hand to back thigh, reach to your reverse warrior. All the way forward, extended side angle. All the way back, reverse triangle. And into your triangle pose. Back to warrior 2. Reversing the whole thing, looking forward, finding half moon. So again, wall, chair, bookshelf, maybe a block. Bring your hand pretty far forward. You want to keep that space between your hip and your armpit, so you're not bringing the hand really close. Opening up. And then we'll close it. So square your hips down. Hands to the floor or to your chest. And then we'll bring the back toes down. Back into your crescent. Nice deep breath. And then all of that again. From that start. So hands to the heart center. I think I'm going to sneeze. Shifting your way forward. Back toe can stay tapped or lift. Warrior 3. Taking the hand down. Starting to stack your hips. Opening up through the chest. Lift. And then we'll float down. Warrior 2. Back hand to back thigh. Find reverse. Coming forward. Extended side angle. All the way to reverse triangle. And into triangle pose. Holding. Come back into your warrior. Spiral that back leg open, sinking into goddess. And then we'll turn to the right side of the mat, stepping back. Take a vinyasa if you like. Meeting back in downward facing. We're gonna do that same thing. Again, but we're only do it once through. We're gonna add a little bit onto it, so you can hold the poses if you want, or you can make it a little bit more challenging. So when it feels good, starting with the right leg lifting, bend in the knee, point it up towards the ceiling, try to bring the heel over towards the left. Holding here, if it feels good, flex your foot and maybe kick, and then squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe you can come higher, 7, last one, 8, closing up through the hips, step the foot up, coming into your crescent lunge, hands to the heart center. So you can keep yourself leaning with the toe tapped, or come into warrior 3. We're gonna tuck the back knee, so you can come like this, or if you have the balance, you can hold on to something. We're gonna hug the knee in and just send it back out. So bend the standing leg a little. 2, 3, 4. Bring your hand down. See if you can stack your hips. Maybe you can stack the arm. Again, hold on to something if you need to. If it feels okay for you, you're gonna straighten your top arm. Mine has a wall in the way. And we're gonna hug the knee and elbow towards each other. So really hold on to something if you need to. We're gonna squeeze in and back out. Standing leg can bend a little. 2, 3, 4. Bringing the back foot down. Woo! Warrior 2. Back hand to back thigh, find a reverse. Coming forward, extended side angle. Don't put your hand on your thigh if you can. All the way back, triangle. All the way forward, triangle pose. Just hover, really hugging in through the core. And then we'll sweep our way open from here into goddess. Tap and tap and tap. Try to keep hugging the hips forward, so the hips and ribs are squeezing like you're trying to crack a nut between them. And then turning to the other side of your mat. Stepping back. Vinyasa if you like. Finding your way to downward facing, holding here. So just the other side, and then we're gonna sit down for a couple of minutes, do some sitting stretching, and then you'll be finished. It's a good, how long have we been going? Half an hour, so it'll be like 45 minutes probably. So when you're ready for it, left leg will lift this time, take it up nice and high. Bending the knee, just try to bring the foot over towards the right. Left knee is pointing towards the ceiling. Flexing your foot, you can hold, or if it feels good, 8 times. 1, 2, try to get the leg high. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Closing the hips, step the foot up. Find your way into your crescent. So just like before, you can hold a crescent. You can hold leaning forward in your crescent. You can hold warrior 3. You don't have to do the extra bits. But if you want to, hands to the heart, leaning forward, starting here. Maybe just doing the foot tapping in, or if it feels good, coming here. And then we're gonna hug the knee in. So bend your standing leg a little so you don't pull on your low back. You'll hug and back out. 2, 3, and 4. Bringing your left hand down, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders. Just like before, you can hold here. If it feels good, top arm will reach. Really hug your core, bending the standing leg a little. We'll hug everything in and lengthen it back out. 3. Last time. And then back foot will come down. Finding warrior 2. Back hand to back thigh. Reach to reverse. Try not to put the weight into the arm. Coming all the way forward. Maybe you can come inside the leg. All the way back. Straighten your front leg out. all the way forward. Coming from here to goddess, so I like to circle around to make it kind of flowy. Holding here this time. Woo. Just 1 second. Stay where you are. Okay, this time, if it feels okay, you're gonna lift our heels. So you can do both at the same time or one at a time. So you can start here, or you can come here. And if you want, you can bring the arms into it. This burns my buns. 2 more. Ooh. Turning to the right side of your mat, step back to plank. Chaturanga if you want. If it feels exciting for you, you can add a push-up. Find your way to child's pose. Maybe sway the hips. And then when it feels good for you, bring ourselves up and come over to seated. So extending both legs out, starting just here. Ooh, my legs are tight. Get nice and long, maybe lean forward a little bit. Just finding a gentle forward fold so your knees can be bent. Using the arms to kind of work yourself forward without rounding really far. And then when it feels good, bring yourself up. So we're going to take our left leg. If it feels all right, you're going to cross it over. Maybe move your flesh out of the way. And then bring the knee in as close as you can and just give it a hug. Okay, so your ankle's on the opposite side of your right leg, so it's across. And maybe you can kind of sway. Just try to draw the knee across towards the right shoulder. Hopefully feeling some stretch in your buns. Whew. And then if it feels all right from here, we're going to take the foot pretty far across and then come to the outside edge of it so your knee can drop down. So we're not coming to a twist. We're coming into half cow pose. Getting nice and long. Just see if it feels good to lean forward. So again, I like to use my arms behind me to kind of work as a lever to keep me from rounding my back. And that way the stretch stays in my legs. Whatever feels better for you. Maybe it feels good to move your flesh to give yourself a little bit more space. And then when it feels good, coming back up. So I want you to keep your legs how they are, getting nice and long. We're just gonna come into a twist. So right arm can come to the outside of the left leg, or can just come onto your thigh. Left arm will come behind you, widen the collarbones, and see if you can get nice and tall, and then pull the belly in, and maybe you can twist. Looking behind you if it feels all right for your neck. On your next exhale, go ahead and unwind, just extend that leg out, maybe give it a shake. And then we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. So starting out, your right foot will come across, and then we're just gonna give the leg a hug and pull the knee in towards the chest. Maybe pulling it across towards the opposite shoulder so you feel that stretch in your glute or down the side of your hip. Maybe you feel it somewhere completely different. Your body is probably gonna feel different than mine. And then when you're ready, just like before, we're gonna take the foot as far over as you can and then just let the knee lay down. So you're on the side of your foot. Adjust your flesh in all your spaces. And then we're just gonna find a forward fold here. So hands behind you if you like to. Coming forward, you might notice this side feels a little different than the other side felt. Mine feels way different. And just kind of find that space where it feels good. It doesn't have to be like a crazy intense stretch. Remember when it feels good, bring yourselves back up. We're gonna come into our twist. So your left hand will come outside the right leg, wherever it feels good. Right hand behind you. Spread the collarbones. So you're squeezing your upper back. Get nice and tall. And then maybe squeeze the core in and you might find a twist. And then when you're ready for it, we'll unwind. Unwinding the legs, shift yourself forward. Grabbing hold of your shins, we're just gonna round our back. So getting a nice big round. I like to drop my chin, maybe you like to drop yours. See if you can let your shoulders relax. And then when you're ready, you can like drop back like a little egg just by rolling back, or maybe you want to use your arms to help. And when we get down, I just want you to let your feet hit the floor heavy. Bring the soles of the feet together and just let the knees drop out. If it feels good, hands are going to come right to where your hips and thighs meet, onto your thighs, and just kind of press the legs away from you. If it feels good and you like to, we're just going to start to bring the feet a little bit further away from each other so you can find the inside of your thighs with your hands. Maybe your feet float. It might feel good to kind of wiggle here. Just any movements here that feel good. If you like Happy Baby, you can bring the knees all the way in and hold on to your shins or feet for Happy Baby. I'm just going to stay here. Just slowing down the breath and the mind and the body. And then when it feels good, wherever you are, we're going to bring our feet back down, take them nice and wide, arms out to a T, and we're just going to let the knees drop towards the left. If you like to stack knees, you can. Otherwise, keep it in this kind of like shallow twist. Maybe you can extend your left arm a little bit more and look over to the right. And then we'll move to the other side. So just rocking yourself back through center, knees to the other side. Same thing, I have a wall, but maybe you can extend your right arm out really far and then look to the left. And then moving back through center when you're ready. Soles of the feet on the ground. Maybe just kind of rocking on the pelvis. Not lifting the hips for a bridge, just kind of massaging. You can go side to side a little. You might even like to, press your legs again. Whatever movements feel good for this last couple of breaths. we'll just let the knees drop in. You can extend them long if it feels better. Maybe just taking the hands on the belly and feeling your breath for a few moments in a nice, relaxed Shavasana. Seeing if you can allow your face to soften. So you are welcome, obviously, to stay where you are for as long as you want. If you're ready to bring yourself back, just starting to kind of take some deeper breaths, maybe exhaling out through the mouth, moving in the hands and feet, maybe rocking your head. If it feels good, maybe extending the arms above your head, the legs long, taking a big deep breath. And then just bending one knee at a time, rolling up onto one side. Just using your arms for a pillow, not for a pillow, as a pillow for a moment. Bad girl. Come here, baby. Come here. Way to end Shavasana, right? When it feels good, just finding your way up to seated. Come here. Come here. Oh. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't liked or commented or told me that you were here, there's no one there. Shh. If you don't mind doing that, that would be fantastic. And I'll see you all next month. Let me know if you have any requests. I'm gonna say goodbye to YouTube first, if I can figure out how to turn you off.